I'm live. Yeah. Oh, look, there's already people in here. How you doing, guys? Let's see. Tom Braden's in here. That's a name I haven't seen before. And Survival Ninja. Hmm, haven't seen you in a while. He asked me if I'm doing well, of course. Have I bought any new watches? Yeah, quite a few. Actually, I don't know how long it's been since you looked at or looked at my channel or anything, but yeah, I've added watches here and there. Every one of them is videoed, so go ahead and jump on the channel, or go ahead and jump on the channel, and you'll see watches that I've acquired. You'll also see watches that I've been loaned in for review. A bunch of them from Ivan Ennis over at Watch Me Unboxing and Iconic Timepieces. Also got a couple from Feynman. In fact, I just put one up earlier today from Feynman, the Gold watch. Hey, Mike, how you doing? Thanks for stopping by. Dirk, the Blade Meister. How you doing, man? Uh, Dirk, I'm so jealous. Your channel is past mine in terms of subs. So congratulations. If any of you guys are interested in knives, uh, go over to Dirk's channel. Give him a sub. He's reviewing some of the craziest knives I've ever seen. No, I didn't think you were sorry about that, Dirk. I don't expect you to be. I'm sneaking up on 1,500 subs. When we get to 1,500 subs, I'm going to do another watch giveaway. Nothing terribly spectacular, but I do have a watch that came in a few days ago that I'll give away as soon as we hit the 1,500 mark. I'll do a quick review of it and a drawing for it a couple of days later. I'll lay all that out when we get there. William K, good morning. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. Let's see. No, Mike, I'm not giving away the Spitfire. Mike, I'll give you the Spitfire if you make a $2,000 donation to my channel. Sound fair? And probably wouldn't even do it then. Yeah, Dirk, I have no doubt it's taking a lot of work. I mean, imagine how much work Rob does to support a 30,000 subscription channel plus Patreon plus the Discord that he set up. You're thinking I'm doing better because I've hit my number with less videos. I don't know if I'm doing better. I guess I'm just doing it kind of differently. But I don't know how long your channel's been around, but mine's been around for a long time. Rob F, good day to you, sir. NASCAR Ball, thanks for stopping by. Blue shirts in the house, thanks for stopping by. Dirk, the Spitfire will never be for sale unless I hit such bad times that I'm forced to sell it. And I'm hoping that never happens. The Spitfire stays with me. By the way, wrist check, I'm wearing my Zelos Mako version 3 Frost. I bought that from Random Rob. He threw it up on Discord at $300, and his fingers weren't even off the keyboard before I emailed him and said, "That's mine." And 3 days later, I had it. Let's see. Yes, NASCAR Ball. Kyle Busch is still winless in the Cup Series. He did, however, win an Xfinity race. So, I'm not worried. He's still in the chase in terms of points. And Kyle Busch is Kyle Busch. He will get his. Don't doubt that. I know you don't like him. You're that Chase fan, so don't worry about it. Kyle Busch will get his. I'm not worried. Let's see. Dirk says wanting to get to that 30,000 level on subscribers, but you're nervous about it. Hey, we all would be. I don't know. I don't know how Rob does it, working a full-time job the way he does and supporting a channel like that with daily uploads, but he can do it, so there you go. There's my man, Slim Mosley. What's up, man? Go Dogs. Well, yeah, go Dogs. Go Gators, of course, but Slim is a great guy to work with in terms of graphic arts. If anyone's been on my channel lately, you may have noticed that the channel art at the beginning has changed from a picture of my car to a new graphic, a new logo graphic, if you will. That was Slim Mosley designed that for me. Basically, he knocked that out in less than a day with pictures, the text, everything like that. And then on his own went and resized the thing specifically to make the banner fit in the space for the YouTube logo with respect to being projected on a computer. So he did a great job. I appreciate it. Yes, Dirk, I'm wearing a Zelos. I mean, I have 20 of them, for God's sake. I mean, that's fully 1/3 of my collection is Zelos. You know? I have 60 watches, 20 of them Zelos. What do you expect? Yes, I have 60 watches. I just counted. You got the Arnie. Good, good. It is a comfortable watch. There are two other colorways, a Pepsi version, and then there's a one that I forgot the exact color combination, but that one's harder to find. But yeah, why not go for all three? I mean, you know, saves. Don't spend money once on a knife, and you'll be able to afford both those watches. Is Kyle racing trucks this weekend? I hadn't heard. Yeah, well, they can go at it. I mean, Chase can. It's funny how some other Cup regulars like Chase and Harvick and Kozlowski and Slogano and all those, they can come down to the trucks or the Xfinity and they can win. Nobody says a damn thing. Kyle wins in those organizations and everyone loses their friggin' minds. Everybody hates Slogano on NASCAR Ball. There's nothing, there's absolutely no redeeming quality to that piece of spoiled brat garbage. So, yeah, everybody hates him. Let's see. My friend, the Gator Hater, my favorite criminal. Yeah, the lip fungus. You know, we all got to move on from Dan Mullen's wife. That one's played out already. But if you want to keep hammering that dead horse, fine. You guys should be more worried about trying to find a real Indian to throw the flaming toothpick at your home game. So give me a break. Let's see. Tennessee Mike says, I want to get to 100 at 96. I don't know what that means. Can you clarify that a little bit? What watch do I wear daily? Asks Rob. I rotate my watches constantly. I have 60 watches. I can literally wear a different watch every day for 2 months. I rotate them around. Yesterday, I wore 3 different watches. I wore a watch that I don't want to mention because I don't want to mention it. I wore my marathon JSAR, and I wore my Comet. That's that one of one failed Kickstarter prototype watch, my Comet chronograph in the Gulf Racing color. So I wore 3 different watches. You see, I wore earlier today. I wore a version 1 Mako, my one of 3 Mako meteorite with blue bezel. There's only 3 in existence. I wore that in the morning. I'll wear this in the afternoon, and then I'll see what watch speaks to me for the evening, and I'll put that on. I haven't decided what that watch will be yet. Let's see. Slim, it's no problem giving you kind words, sir. You did a fantastic job. I was very happy with the result. And you know what I'm going to do is the original one you made, the original graphic is going to appear in the beginning of all my videos going forward. Once I make my next video and every video after that, I'm going to put that graphic at the beginning and maybe at the end as well. Um, and really very happy. And when and if the watch reviewer's website ever decides to add me to their website, I'll hand them the copy of that graphic to put on the website for my channel. Let's see. Where do we go? Oh, Dirk. Let's see. The other one has some black. Oh yeah, the other Arnie. Yeah, has a black diamond coating. Yeah, that's true. That one's hard to find. Good luck with that. Yeah, I really. NASCAR Ball says he really enjoyed the because last weekend the Xfinity race they had Kurt and Kyle Busch brothers doing commentary on the race, and they were kind of just picking at each other a little bit. It was kind of funny to listen to. I enjoyed that. NASCAR says when you make Matt Kenseth run you into the wall, you know you're doing something wrong. He's talking about Joey Logano in 2000. That was 2015. Jeez, it's been 5 years almost. Yeah, yeah. Matt Kenseth picked up a lot of fans that day when he just walled uh, Logano and just pile drove him right into the outside wall. And I think that was Martinsville, wasn't it? And I laugh every time I see that video. I laugh my ass off because that was funny. That was fantastic. Tennessee Mike says he clarified what he said earlier about the 100. He was talking about subscribers. You started a YouTube channel. That's good. I'll go after the stream. I'll go give it a look, Mike, and see what it's all about. What is it all about? Tell us about it a little bit in the comments there. Go ahead. Gator Hater. I am the only one. I am the one who started the unidentified lip fungus. Yeah, I've never stopped that with me. Okay, that's fine. But yeah, it's a serious question. That'd be first for Gator Hater. His nephew is looking for a good watch around $300, and you want some advice. Okay, I have a great watch for him. If he likes diver style watches, like this, kind of like the similar style with the bezel and at about a little bit bigger than this, at about 42 millimeter. Check this. Let me get the hang on. Let me get the website for you real quick. Just take a second. There we go. Okay. Okay, Gator Hater, send your nephew to this site or go there yourself if you want. Oops. Okay. Go to LongIslandWatch.com. Look for a watch. They make their own watch now. It's called the Islander series. They make a whole different group of them in different colors that are diver style watches. They have different color faces, different color bezels, different style of bezels. They're all 200-meter water resistant dive watches. They go about $299. Um, Solid movements, fantastic construction. I own one. If you want to go to my channel and search for Long Island Watch, um, or search for Islander if you want, or something like that, and watch that video. You'll see my review of that watch, and you'll see it. It's really a nice looking piece. Sapphire crystal, uh, stainless steel bracelet, solid hand wind and hackable Japanese movement. Great watch, $299. Cannot go wrong. And Mark, the owner of the place, is a fantastic guy to deal with. The customer service is second to none. I would try one of those. Desire 68, stop by. Floridian, stop by. How you doing, you two? How's it going? Steven, stop by. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate that. Tennessee Mike says his channel is going to be his journey as a watch collector. Well, definitely, I will stop by, take a look at it, and give it a sub. Yeah, William, it's called the Islander. Fantastic watches, Gator Hater. You can't go wrong. And right at the $300 price point. If he wants to get under $300, he can probably take a look at the Orient Mako. If they're still available, the Seiko SKX, either 007, 009, the SKX 011, or 13 if you want something a little smaller. The only problem with the SKXs is the movement is not windable. It's an automatic movement, so if you wear it a lot or you put it on a winder and your wrist is moving or the winder is moving, the watch will stay wound up, but you can't wind the watch. That's the downside of that particular watch, that particular movement. And that's why Long Island Watch created the Islander. They wanted to create the SKX, move it upscale, because SKXs are watches that a lot of people modify. And the nice thing about the Islander series is they've done all the mods that typically get done for you. The better bracelet, the sapphire crystal, the upgraded movement, the better bezel inserts. So you can go with the SKX, or you can spend a little more money and go with the Islander. So that'd be my recommendation for that price point. Got a few people in here. Got 12 people in here so far. Everyone, if you can, go ahead and if you are reminded to, please click the thumbs up button for me. It does help me out. Super Chat's available if you are motivated to do that. Of course, you don't have to. It's always nice when it happens, but it's not something I'm, begging for or anything. I just mentioned it in passing. Tennessee, you're right. Mark is a credit to the watch community, but it's Mark with a C, not a K. Just like that. So how's everybody doing out there? It looks like we're on the backside of the beer flu insanity. Looks like we're going to have college football. I mean, I believe the SEC is finally opened up a few days ago, a couple of days ago from when this video is being made, and they're going to allow schools to start doing practices and weight training and whatnot. And we should see some players on the practice field within a couple of weeks. I think we skipped over the murder hornets and right to watching our people go crazy. But other than that, 2020 looks like it's continuing forward is a really stupid year. We've got our third tropical storm of the season, and the season only started a couple of days ago. We already had 3 named storms. That's always a fun addition. It looks like the predictions are saying that the tropics are going to be more active than usual for 2020, which is just another reason to hate 2020. This is of particular interest to me because I live in Florida, and Florida is a hurricane zone. So from June 1st until November 30th, I get to live under the gun and keeping an eye out on it. And every morning, religiously clicking on the National Hurricane Center website to check to see if there's something going on out there. Piling up bottles of water, batteries, food, all kinds of other stuff, hoping that I don't ever need to use them. Cheers. I have a whole ton of hurricane supplies I hope I never have to use. And it doesn't help that there's no toilet paper in the stores, which, just another piece of hurricane supply. Let's see, where do we leave off here? Blue shirt I get. Blue shirt looks like he already subbed up your channel there, Tennessee Mike. So that's, see, you're already getting towards 100. Slim says Oklahoma State linebacker, 2 Marshall players have the beer flu. Yes, they do. So we don't know. I've been reading a lot of jokes and memes and stuff on Facebook saying that with all this rioting and everything, if we don't see a spike in a couple of weeks of beer flu, then we'll know that we're really doing really well. So, hey, here's to the rioters and the protesters, especially the rioters, for being unintended guinea pigs for the second wave, as they call it, of beer flu. So let's see what happens in a couple of weeks if we have a second wave or not in the cities that had lots of rioting. Some good may come out of it. You never know. Now, let's see, where are we? NASCAR Law says, did I hear about NASCAR back in Nashville? Yes, I did. That is fantastic. That one of the old tracks that fell out of use for a good long time. Tracks like Nashville and North Wilkesboro and a whole bunch of other tracks that don't get used anymore. Well, it looks like they're going to bring Nashville back and bring that track up to spec and run races there. So good on you, NASCAR. I think that's a great thing. But I still say I want to see if I can spark NASCAR or trigger him or whatever. I still say there needs to be more road courses. What we do, like 3 or 4 a year? I think there needs to be a half dozen at least, maybe more. I think we need more road course racing. I'd like to see the NASCAR teams head to Circuit of the Americas in Texas. That track is made for road racing. I think we need to add Circuit of the Americas. Absolutely. Slim Mosley, murder hornets are just fear mongering. I agree. I don't even know if murder hornets were ever a thing. We seem to have gone from beer flu to murder hornets to riots. So, and murder hornets only had like about a week. So, who knows? Kevin Spear is here. Greetings, my good friend. Thanks for stopping by. Kevin's been real active in my comment section lately. He seems to be really enjoying watching the videos and commenting on them, so I appreciate that, man. Appreciate it. Steven says, so is COVID-19. I think there was a bit of fear-mongering going on with it. I mean, it's obviously a disease we need to take seriously. I think some people out there, some so-called leaders, took advantage of the situation and ratcheted up the fear-mongering to 11 for no damn good reason other than their own power grabs. But, that's just me. I don't trust government in any form, pretty much. So I don't care if it's run by Democrats or Republicans. I think they're all scum anyway. So I don't have much trust in anybody right now. But again, that's just me. Slim says, Gators losing to Georgia for the 4th time in a row. Okay, if you want to believe that, if you want to believe that a refugee from a 3rd-tier ACC school is going to be the savior of the Bulldogs and lead them to the promised land, hey, good on you, mate. Good for you. Personally, I don't think he's up to it. But let's see what happens. I do think that the road to Atlanta goes through Jacksonville, as it generally has. It's going to come down to the cocktail party on Halloween as to who goes to Atlanta and who goes to the Orange Bowl or Peach Bowl or whatever. So we'll see. Yeah, let's see. Where did I leave off? Tennessee Mike's going back to work, so thanks for stopping by, Mike. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Let's see. Rob F. I don't care if we have football or any televised sport at this point on time and money, he goes somewhere else. Well, that's one way of looking at it, but a lot of people rely on sports to make a living. I mean, all those people who work the stadiums, the TV crews, the radio crews, the ticket takers, the coaches, um, all the way down to the ushers in the stadiums. There's a lot of people that rely on sports happening, and there's a lot of people that I'm sorry to say it, but there's a lot of people whose lives are frankly empty without sports, and they need that in their lives. And I'm happy that NASCAR is running again. And it looks like Formula One, despite the fact that it's populated and run by Euro weenies, they're even going to open up their overly cautious health and safety first at all costs, no risk, egalitarian silliness that they are. They're going to start running in July, believe it or not. So I'm happy to see auto racing back because I'm a car nut, and before I was a watch nut, I'm a car nut. So I'm glad to see it back in there, and I'm hoping that that's a good sign for the other sports. I don't have much use for the NBA or baseball, but I know they're working on things, and I think hockey has got a plan in place. It's just a matter of implementing it. And of course, all of us here were from the Uncle Lou channel and the BBD channel. We all want to see, and a bunch of millionaire divas whining about the billionaire owners and so on and so forth. And help, I'm being oppressed. I'm making millions per year. I have no use for them. I could care less if they start working again or not. But I need my college football. I need my Gators. NASCAR ball looters must remain 6 feet apart and sanitize the building they loot. Actually, you think you're joking, NASCAR ball, but I understand that Bill DeCamio, mayor of New York, de Blasio, I call him DeCamio, or Comrade de Blasio, he actually sent out guidelines for looters that they should all try and maintain 6 foot distance, and there should be no more than 20 looters per store. I mean, he literally, if that's true, I believe it. Knowing de Blasio, it probably is. I mean, rather than stopping the looters from doing what they're doing, you come up with looting guidelines. Jesus Christ. Steven says, we all live under the gun, just saying. Well, in one form or another, I guess we do. But my gun happens to be a hurricane, and I don't need my house flattened. Okay, now, my house is an old construction. It's been upgraded to as best they can to the current codes and everything, but still, it's not going to be as strong as a house that was purpose built to withstand a hurricane. So I worry about these things. NASCAR ball agrees with me that road courses are great. Yes, they are. I know it's shut up the uninformed idiots. They say, all they do is turn left. Every time I hear one of these geniuses who wants to talk racing about all NASCAR and all IndyCar does is turn left, you're just showing your ignorance. There's a hell of a lot more to it than that. I guarantee you, if one of you numbskulls gets behind the wheel of a race car and tries to throw that thing around for 10 laps, you'd pass out. It's not easy. I've driven race cars before when I was younger. Uh, it takes a lot of effort to muscle around a race car, but I can't convince you of that until you actually do it. So that's all I'll say about that. See, Floridian says had a lot of rioting / looting in Chicagoland over the past couple of days. My fear is the virus will spread even quicker based on the masses of people close together without protection. Yeah, I was just kind of joking about that a few minutes ago. We're going to find out if there truly is going to be a second wave of corona, um, because of all this rioting and protesting and looting and pillaging, and everyone in close proximity to each other with minimal protection and so on. So I guess we're going to find out how serious this whole thing was, or wasn't, as the case may be. I hope that it doesn't happen, because I don't think this country can afford to be shut down again like we tried before. I don't think we can afford it financially. I don't think we can afford it spiritually, emotionally, physically, mentally. I don't think we can afford to do it again. I think we had our bite at the apple with a 1 month shutdown, and in some cases longer. I don't think we can do it again. I don't think we come out the other side the same country. I don't think we're going to come out the other side of this as the same country. So there's a lot to worry about there. Rob F., I've enjoyed a bowling. Huh? Why? I never liked bowling very much. But that's me. Steven, New Zelos Mirage Tourbillon. Yep, I've seen them. Well, I've seen pictures of them. I'll never see one in person. I mean, those things are what, 11, 12, $13,000 watches. Um, I can't afford one of those right now. Um, I, I think Elshin is doing a smart thing. I think he's only making 10 of them in total. I think it's going to be like 4 titanium, 3 Damascus, and 1 the Mokum, or however that word is pronounced. So 4, 3, and 3. I think it's a great idea on his part to make a halo watch. I mean, it's like sticking a Shelby Super Snake in the dealership showroom of a Ford dealership, and then surrounding it by regular Mustangs. I mean, you have the halo car that draws people. You advertise it. Hey, we have a Shelby Super Snake sitting on our showroom, and people come from far and wide to see a rare and expensive Super Snake just to be able to say they saw one. And then they stay and look at the other Mustangs, and maybe a couple of them walk out with one. So I think that's a great idea on Elshin's part. Make a halo watch, make something that draws in the big iron, and then maybe they stay and they grab themselves one of the dress watches that are coming out, or maybe one of the swordfish, or hammerhead, or something like that. It's a good idea. I think so. I would love to see one in person. I don't think I ever will. Let's see. NASCAR Ball says de Blasio was a joke. Yes, he is, but unfortunately, he's a joke who's running the biggest, one of the biggest cities in the world. And he's bound and determined to run it into the ground if he has to. I love the way he attacks his own police force. I mean, there's a couple of mayors of cities that sit back and attack their own police force and just paint with broad brush. Oh, they're all racist. They're all, all they want to do is kill minorities and so on. And they're all horrible people, and they're all crooked and everything. Okay. I have to sit there and wonder, if I were a cop and my mayor had that attitude about me and my brothers and sisters in blue, how eager am I to do my job? knowing that the executive of my city, the mayor, and remember, the police force is an extension of the executive branch of a city or a state. If my mayor is sitting there saying that we're all scum, how motivated am I to do my job? Just the thought. Maybe I call in sick. Maybe how many of you saw the movie The Town with Ben Affleck? He played the leader of a crew of very sophisticated bank robbers, and they did a job. Remember the scene where they parked and were switching cars, and they all turned and noticed the cop sitting over there by himself in his car, and the cop at the same time turns and sees these four guys dressed as nuns with automatic weapons or semi-automatics. And all he does is he turns away, starts his car, and drives off. And everyone just kind of sits there and looks at each other. And it's like, what just happened? You know, maybe if I'm a police officer in a city or whatever, where the mayor has said that my department is all scum, how motivated am I to do my job, other than to keep myself and my brothers and sisters alive? And it's something to think about. I'm not saying that it's right or it's wrong. I mean, it's just something to think about because human nature. Nobody likes to be called, you know, garbage by another person. It makes it really hard to want to do well by that person. Don't you think? Oh, the general's here. How you doing, General? Yes, indeed. I saw BBD's video earlier today. Indeed, rest in peace, Johnny Majors. He was one of the legends of the SEC. General, I think you're a relatively young guy, but maybe in late teens, early 20s, I believe. I'm not really sure, honestly. When you get up to the BBD's age and my age, and I am older than BBD, and that is a little depressing. And the heroes that we grew up with, guys like Majors for him and Spurrier for me, watching these guys get older and older and realizing that there are fewer days in front of them than there are behind them. And then they start dying off. It's very sad to see your heroes one by one go away. And you begin to learn about your own mortality. When you're 20 something and full of testosterone and as my grandma used to say, full of piss and vigor. You don't think about these things, but when you start, a little gray hair, wrinkles on the skin, aches and pains in the joints, you start to think about these things, and then all the heroes begin to pass away one by one. It's hard. And I saw the emotion on BBD's face while he was doing that video, and I knew I could connect with that. I could connect with what he was feeling. It's not easy. It's not easy. Let's see. Steven says you can't afford one at any time. I assume you're talking about the Zelos Mirage. I think that's why he called it the Mirage, because there's only going to be 10 of them, and all for the rest of it, that is a Mirage. So it is aptly named. I think they're going on sale on the 9th. I'm looking at my calendar here. I think they go up on sale on the 9th. I wonder how long it will take before those watches are sold out. I mean, there's only going to be 10, but that's 10 Zelos fans with between $11,000 and $13,000. So I wonder. Let's see. NASCAR Ball is also saying RIP to Johnny Majors. I agree completely. Paul says it's going to get to the point where less and less people want to serve as cops. I agree with that completely. I mean, if I were a cop right now in a major city, I'd be thinking of one of two things. One, retiring, or two, I want to go find a job somewhere in the middle of the country, Nebraska, Iowa, the Dakotas, Montana, someplace safer, someplace where the people don't look at me as the enemy. That's what I'd be thinking right now because I don't know that I could do a job. And I think it's probably a calling in some ways to be a fireman or EMT or a police officer. It's a calling. It's a desire to serve and to be a part of something bigger than yourself. And I understand that and I applaud that. And these men and women are heroes to me. But I don't know how long I'd want to be doing a job where everyone from the people in the street to the leadership of my department look at me as a threat, look at me as less than human. I don't know. I don't know. That's a question a cop could answer. I can't, and I don't know of any that I could ask to be a guest. And I don't know. It's an incredibly hard job, and God bless them for it. I hope God keeps them all safe until this ends. And it will end at some point, one way or the other. This is all going to burn itself out. I just know how much damage is going to be done before it happens. Let's see. Rob says, left the cities burning for their wickedness. Sodom and Gomorrah. Oh, okay. I know the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. I don't know if that's perfectly equivalent. I understand the sentiment you're expressing. Um, and you could make the argument that in a lot of cases they're sowing they're reaping what they sowed. Uh, but there are a lot of cities that are not completely run by leftists that are also getting smashed up pretty bad too. Um, I just hope this ends at some point, one way or the other. It has to end. You have to heal up again and try and solve the issues that caused us in the first place. But I don't know how we're going to do that if we keep beating each other up. The general says probably best for me to stay out of that. Have a great day, Celine. Stay out of what? I don't know. Well, if you want to leave, that's fine. I understand. Stay out of what though? I'm not really sure what you're talking about there. You're talking about what's going on in the cities, or you know, um, heroes and stuff passing away, and as we get older. I don't know. Oh, and there's my subscriber with the crazy name. I mean, look at that. Look at that name. QAZ Quaz said. You know what? I'm gonna call you Kaz or Quaz. What's up, man? I don't know. Or Clop. Column. At the end, it's KOLP. Column. So I'm gonna call you Column because I don't know what the hell the rest of that is, other than you just kind of went a little crazy on the keyboard. But hey, it works. You say stay out of politics and religion. Yeah, it's probably a good idea. We should all stay out of each other's politics and religion. Unfortunately, we don't live in a society like that, so it's not realistic. You try not to alienate people by staying away from them. I mostly try to. I mean, I do my best, but this is a free for all. I do these streams every week now as a free for all. I want to talk watches. That's great. I want to talk auto racing. I want to talk uh, college football. I want to talk cars. Some people want to make a mention here and there about the current events of the world. That's fine. I mean, I will cut it off at some point if it gets a little bit too stupid. But right now there's nobody throwing bombs at each other or anything. Just people expressing an opinion and then moving on, and that's fine. I don't have any real objection to that. It's just if you know two people in here or decide to start doing personal attacks, that's when you got to cut it off as best you can anyway. Let's see. How long have I been going? 45 minutes. That's pretty good. Let's see. NASCAR Ball says teaching, cops, farming, soldiers are all calling. I agree with that too, Jeff, because my older daughter just about a month ago now graduated from the University of Florida. I am a proud Gator Papa. She got her degree in teaching. She has been for a long time called to that profession. Now she's got one more year of internship and so on to earn her master's degree and become a certified teacher. But she's looking forward. I mean, she'll be in the classroom starting in August, assuming that the county we live in opens up and does school. I think they will. She is looking very much forward to becoming a teacher, and she's felt she's been called to that profession for many years, and very proud of her for working very hard, graduating with honors, cum laude, I should say, and I couldn't be proud of her. And my other daughter, she's finished her freshman year. She's now starting her sophomore year in summer school. She's got her own path laid out. She wants to work with children as a child psychologist. And I think that's fantastic. They both want to work with children. Um, so I think they're actually going to have a symbiotic relationship. My older daughter is going to make them crazy with homework and tests and quizzes and everything. And then they'll go off and seek treatment for my younger daughter. So that might work out really well. They might be rolling in it. I don't know how you guys had for your childhood, but I probably could have used a little psychological help now and then. Let's see. Steven says just had a person that threw lighter fluid on a police car and lit it on fire. And the Attorney General of Michigan is not prosecuting because he turned himself in. Yep, I live in the, what is that word? Demo left globalist state of Michigan. Okay. Yeah, I read about that. Yeah, you can set police cars on fire now, and nobody will touch you. Right? Good. That's fantastic. That is wonderful. I wonder how much longer that's going to play before the average American stands up and says enough. I wonder how much more people can take. Let's see. Um, Call up thinks it's awesome about my daughter. I appreciate that. Um, his mother is a teacher, and his wife is a nurse. Very cool. Now, nursing, that's another calling. I know my younger daughter's best friend. She's studying to be a nurse, and she's felt compelled to be a nurse forever. I mean, as early as I can remember, the two of them growing up, this kid wanted to be a nurse. Uh, used to go up to my dad, who was a very intimidating man. And this is like a 12, 13, 14-year-old kid would go up to my dad because my dad, who at the time was a doctor, since retired, of course, and would ask him questions. And he would walk up to me later and say, "Who was that?" And I'd tell him who it was. And he said, "She asks very intelligent questions for a 13-year-old." So he was impressed by her, that's for sure. So that's pretty good. Now Carval said, "My mother is a teacher. It's not an easy job and not a lot of pay, but that doesn't matter to them. They want to help people." Yep, that's basically the way my daughter looks at it. So she's willing to do it despite the paid thing. In Florida here, the governor has started a program of increasing teacher pay at a higher rate than has been in the past. So that's looking good for teachers in Florida. Let's see. Ken Spears says, I couldn't be a teacher these days. Kids are great, but today's parents are the pits. Yeah. I tried to be a good parent of students because I saw a lot of parents being absolutely idiotic to teachers, going to parent-teacher orientations and that thing. There were a couple of times, though, where I just couldn't hold back from the absolute stupidity that a couple of these teachers were displaying. It was shameful. I mean, one teacher at my daughter's high school, both of them went to the same high school. This lady came from the private sector the year before my daughter ended up with her, and she was doing a computer graphic arts course, and she had taught this software package that she was introducing to these kids, but she had taught it to adults for years previously in the private sector. And she taught it to adults that had previous graphic arts experience. They knew how to do graphic arts, they knew how to work around a computer, they knew terminology, they knew the general idea of doing computer generated graphics and CGI kind of thing. Unfortunately, she came into a student environment and was dealing with freshmen and sophomores that didn't know anything. And she couldn't translate from the private sector world to the school environment. And as a result, the classes that she had an extraordinarily high fail rate to the point where I actually went in and confronted the teacher and said in so many, because I had been an instructor at IBM for years before I retired and moved from Georgia to Florida. And I confronted her and I said in so many words, do realize you're dealing with basically children here, not adults who have experience in what you're trying to teach them, but children who have no experience in what you teach them, and you're destroying their futures by flunking them at an idiotic rate. You're literally preventing some of these kids from getting into college. And she just looked at me with this, like, how dare you question my methods attitude. And it turned into a 45-minute shouting match. Fortunately, she was somewhat relieved of her duties the following year due to a major letter writing campaign to the school board. Unfortunately for my daughter, it was too late. And such is life. But yeah, you're right. For the most part, parents of these kids are idiotic. I tried not to be, but there were a couple times where I couldn't help myself. Peter Stone, hey, don't worry about it, man. I'm glad you showed up. I don't know how much longer I'm going to go, but I'll keep going a little while longer. The chess man is here. The TikTok, the guru of TikTok, the master of TikToking, Chess Hall. How you doing, man? You late? No call up. She never changed. You couldn't. This is a lady that you couldn't tell. Typical of this kind of personality. You couldn't tell her she was wrong. You could present her with overwhelming evidence that she was wrong, but she was never wrong. And that's just the way it was. I mean, you couldn't do anything about it. You just, I appealed to, levels above her, and they were, they just didn't want to do anything. I mean, she had teachers union behind her, and you just knew they were there, and you can't take on a teacher. Um, just can't happen. Let's see. Chess says, "Hope all is well with your dad. Prayers to him. Love you, buddy. You're Don Florida fan." Well, thank you, Chess. No, there was nothing wrong with my dad. The other day when I had to bomb off the bomb off. I think it was a BVD stream or maybe it was Lose. There's nothing wrong with my father. He's fine. It's just something going on at his house, and I was the only one that could fix it. So, and he only lives about half a mile from me. So I tried to fix it with him over the phone, but it ended up being something I just had to go and deal with in person. So, pardon me, I dealt with it in person, got it fixed, and all is well with the boy. Andrew Jenkins, how you doing, man? Thanks for stopping by. Steven says, got to go to the ATM, get some cash for my girlfriend. Oh, you have one of those, huh? I remember those days. Now I have watches and I have cars. The old joke about cars versus women. It comes down to, you know what? I'm not going to say that because somebody's going to strike my channel if I do that. There's all kinds of jokes about that, but good on you that you got a girlfriend. Sometimes I wish I had one again, but I just don't want to. I just don't want to put that kind of effort in at the moment. What's on the wrist today? I'll show it again. It's I'm looking at my other monitor here. This is a Zelos Mako version 3 Frost with the full lume dial. So this was I bought this from Random Rob. Um, if you're not familiar with the Random Rob channel, I definitely, if you're a watch guy, definitely get onto the Random Rob channel. It would be absolutely worth your time. Yeah, I know. I know, Colin. You would guess it was. Hey, as I said earlier in the stream, I counted my watches this morning just because I figured somebody would ask me. I have 62 watches. 20 of them are Zelos. So a full third of my watch collection is Zelos. So, you ask me what's on my wrist, you have a 1 in 3 chance of it being a Zelos. But this watch was just one day it appeared. Random Rob put it on the Discord channel that he has set up for the Patreons. He just put it up in the Flippers Paradise subgroup, and I caught it because I happened to be right place, right time, and I typed out that's mine, and I emailed him immediately, and I said, how much? And he said, look on the name. And I looked at it, was $300, and I said, and I hit PayPal. I didn't even say I want it again. I just went on a PayPal and transferred the $300. So, this was a good pickup for me. And it's got a great bezel action. These things make great fidget spinners. There you go. Let's see. Andrew says, I got that, and the hammer to Mako I like better than the hammer. A lot of people who are borderline with the hammerhead, which is a bigger watch to be sure, they really like the Makos because they're very similar design. I did a video. I did 2 videos on that comparing all the Zelos dive watches against each other. And the Mako and the Zelos are very similar in terms of the way they look, in terms of the look of it. But the Mako is definitely more wearable with respect to lug to lug and thickness. Now, as I've stated many times on my videos, I love me a thick watch. I'm very comfortable wearing my Abyss 3, which is what, 21.5 millimeter thick? No, 20.5, sorry. I'm very comfortable wearing all my hammerheads, both 1 and 2. I'm very comfortable wearing my Marathon JSAR, which is a pretty thick watch in and of itself. So I'm very comfortable with wearing a thick watch. But some days you just want something a little smaller for whatever reason. And people have asked me from time to time, how do I pick a watch to wear for the day? It always comes down to I go into where all my watches are. They're all together in one room, and there are some watches that I still manually wind because, quite frankly, they're either too big for a watch winder in terms of weight, or in the case of 2 watches that I own, you put them on a winder and they just stop. Don't know why. Those 2 watches in particular cannot be put on a winder. They have to be hand wound or worn because they're automatics. So I'm in that room every morning and I look at all my watches every morning, make sure they're all still running, see if I've got a problem somewhere. And some watch, while I'm looking, will just kind of catch my eye and sort of speak to me. And that's the watch I take out of the winder or take out of its box, and I put it on, because that's basically how I decide what watch to wear in the morning and in the afternoon. And if I change again in the evening, I just go in there and I look at them. And whichever watch talks to me is the watch I put on. I know that sounds goofy to a lot of people, but watches, I know my watches have a personality of some sort. There are some watches that they don't like to be wound less than 40 times. There are some I have that have to be wound exactly 40. So one of them has to be wound 60. Another one is 50. Another one can be on a winder, but it can only rotate clockwise. Some only rotate counterclockwise. They all have their own little quirk. Some watches still running, but they run slow, which is because they're not adjusted perfectly. That's the disadvantage of an automatic versus a quartz. With an automatic like this one, when you pull it off the winder, pretty much that you grab your phone and you look at the time, and like my phone now says the time is 1:01. You look at the watch. If it says 1:01, you're good. If it says 12:59, you move it. If it says 11:05, 1:05, you move it. So you play with the watch, and you get it right. That's the thing about owning watches and being a watch collector. You learn the quirks of each of these little mechanical devices. They all have their own quirks. Just like my car, my Saleen outside in the garage, it has several little quirks in it. For one thing, you can't get in and start the car right away. You have to get in, you turn the key, and then you have to wait 5 seconds for the twin fuel pumps to prime and hit 42 psi on the pressure gauge. Then you can start the car. You can't zing it right away. You have to let the oil pressure come up because it's a supercharged car and it needs oil pressure. You learn these little things, these little mechanical quirks that these things have, and they have a rhythm to them, and that's why those things are more fun to me, because they're more alive to me. That's why I will never own another smartwatch ever again, because they're soulless. They're too perfect, and they go obsolete in about a month. I can pick this watch up in 10 years and it'll still be running and it'll still be relevant, it'll still work. Whereas a smartwatch 10 years from now is probably no longer supported software wise, and in the case of some of them are made out of such crap material that they probably won't even be working anymore. But that's just my opinions. I could be wrong. Anyway, nobody seems to be commenting anymore. anymore, so it usually is a sign to me that, hang on a minute. Oop, somebody did comment. Okay, so the comment is, no, people are still there. That's good. Hang on a minute. Okay, so the chat is sort of locked up on me, but hang on. And NASCAR says, I wear a watch because it looks cool, not because I want to retire. Okay. No, I understand that. A lot of people say that, NASCAR will. Yeah, blue shirt saying you're all still there. Okay, so. Yeah, so unfortunately, it's when I pop it out into a separate window, it locks the chat up. So I'll just move everything over to here, and the chat's now over here, and so I'll be looking over here to read it. Anyway, though, I've been on about an hour, 5 minutes or so, and I'm going to wrap it up because I got to go take care of a couple of things today. The day's not over. It's still early afternoon, but we got to take care of a few things. So I appreciate everybody stopping by. I got a bunch of thumbs ups. I appreciate that. If you're watching the video after the fact, if you please give me that thumbs up. I always appreciate those. It does help the channel out. If you're also watching after the fact, comments, questions, and suggestions down below. Of course, I'm going to read them all. I'll respond to them all, but if you're going to be a jerk about things, I'll just block you. Oh, no problem, Blue Shirt. Thanks for stopping by, man. I always appreciate you. I appreciate everybody for stopping by. Hopefully, if you're new to the channel, you'll subscribe. I'm going to try and keep doing these chats once a week. I pick Wednesday mostly because my friend Uncle Lou doesn't do a morning show, so I'm not stepping on his toes. And BBD, my other friend who does a sports live stream, he doesn't live stream until 8 o'clock Eastern time at night, so I'm not stepping on his toes. That's why I pick Wednesday at noon, because it didn't interfere with my two friends. Stopping by. Have a good rest of the day. Bye-bye.